Today I want to talk about 4 key strategies you'll want to be using if you're trying to heal from IBS or SIBO, so stay tuned. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome. My name's Amanda Malacheski. I'm a certified functional nutrition health coach and a digestive and allergy detective. For weekly videos on how to create your personalized plan to resolve SIBO and IBS symptoms, please consider subscribing and be sure to hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video every week. I'm going to guess that you clicked in here today thinking that you were going to be hearing about things like treating infections and the supplement protocols and various things that people normally talk about when we're talking about IBS and SIBO. And though some combination of these things are going to be very helpful and important on your healing journey, this is not at all what I want to talk about today. As a seasoned gut health coach at this point and the host of the Calm Digestion Method program, I see a lot of people getting really lost in the weeds with all of these various tools and techniques. And what people are missing is some big picture strategy that allows you to use those tools effectively. So what I really want to do is redefine this conversation a little bit so that you are focusing on the most important strategy pieces so that no matter which of those tools or techniques you're using, you're going to get the most out of them. So what I really want to talk about today are 4 key strategies you'll want to be using on your IBS or SIBO healing journey that go beyond food and supplement protocols, and I think they may not be what you expect, so let's get started. So the first strategy for IBS and SIBO healing that you want to be using is to customize every single tool, technique, protocol, or whatever for you personally and your uniqueness. So one of the biggest truths that I want you to come away from this video with today is the fact that no matter who gives you a protocol, whether that's your naturopath, your doctor, a health coach, an online influencer, or anyone, I want you to approach it from the perspective of, is this appropriate and right for me right now? And what do I need to do to customize it for myself? Sometimes you know the answer to this question right off the bat. Like, for example, you might know that every time you've tried lactobacillus and bifidobacteria probiotics that you've had a bad reaction. And so if this is the case, you're going to be pretty strong and secure in the fact that, nope, don't need to try that, already did it, we're done. I recently experienced this firsthand when my son was prescribed PPIs by one of his doctors, and I had to tell them that, you know what, the last time we tried to do that, it had some pretty drastic consequences, and so we're just not going to do that. We need different medications that are going to control things differently. Other times, you won't know whether something's right for you or not in this moment. So in this case, you'll have to approach with a perspective of, all right, I'm going to carefully test this or adapt it, start with a small amount, try it out carefully, and make a determination about whether it's good for me or not and figure out how I need to adapt it. As a practitioner, I don't always know how somebody's going to respond to something. And I've had enough years of experience at this point to know that at any given point, someone may respond with something that I completely didn't expect. I get really frustrated when I hear from people who have practitioners who are very dogmatic and, rigid about what they're recommending to people and saying, this is going to help you, you have to do it like this. We just can't say that with any amount of clarity. And generally, people who have IBS and SIBO chronically are the canaries. We are the people who are reactive to things that we don't expect. So ultimately, again, just make sure that whatever you're choosing or trying, that you're willing to adapt it, change it, modify it to suit you. There's nothing wrong with that. So the second strategy you'll want to use while you're working on your IBS or SIBO is to make sure that you are approaching any new thing that you've never tried before carefully and that you're only changing one new thing at a time. I'm going to say that again, one new thing at a time. Now, because I was sick with IBS for over 10 years, I know how tempting it is when faced with an option that may help you to dive in. And, a lot of us spend a lot of time researching and trying to come up with new options, things we haven't tried before. And we might come up with a list of things. Okay, I've got a list of 5 supplements here that I have heard will help IBS. So I'm going to go out and buy all of them and start them right away. The trouble with this is that when you start all those things all together at once, if you have a bad reaction, you don't know which one was responsible for the reaction. It seems really counterintuitive, but to slow down and take things one piece and one step at a time actually in the long run helps you get where you're going faster because you get a clear answer with each experiment you're trying. And that clear answer helps you understand the scope of your problem. It helps you understand the mechanism or the underlying causes of your symptoms and your situation. And this information is what's key to helping you build your long-term management plan or remission plan. So for example, if you found that the low FODMAP diet really improved your symptoms, this tells you that fermentable carbohydrates are a significant contributor to your symptoms. And this helps you understand also what to do next, which is that you want to do some reintroductions and figure out which specific FODMAP foods were the problematic ones. So again, slowing down and doing one thing at a time and approaching each experiment carefully so that you can really get the most out of it is a really essential strategy. So I'm curious to hear from you if you've ever tried adding lots of supplements all at once and then sort of had a train wreck of symptoms afterwards. Click like if that's happened to you, or tell me a little bit more about it in the comments. Now, the third key strategy that you'll want to be using on your IBS and SIBO healing journey is to make sure that you're asking a clear question about every single supplement, technique, diet, or tool that you're trying. I suspect that your IBS world is likely full of unanswered questions about why something's happening or what's going on in your gut. You get answers to these questions by changing one thing at a time and approaching that experiment with a question in mind that you're trying to answer. And though I kind of hate to say it, I think this is a place where a lot of you get really misled by online influencers who are kind of dogmatic or reductionistic in their thinking about things. I'm sure you've heard people say things like, all gut problems are caused by candida, or all health problems are caused by Epstein-Barr virus, or oxalates are bad for everyone. This kind of thinking is leaving you with fear and dogmatism, and it's not very constructive because obviously that can't be true. You know, all these problems are not caused by the same thing for every single person. Now, these proposed underlying causes may be true for some of you, but obviously they're not true for everyone. And you owe it to yourself to try and figure out what your unique underlying causes are. And the way that you do this is by asking good questions when you approach a new experiment. So if you've heard that oxalates are bad for everyone and you're concerned that this might be part of your symptom picture, the way to approach this is to ask the question, are oxalates part of my symptom picture? And the way you would test this is by, trialing a low oxalate diet for a little while and evaluating, did my symptoms improve or not? If they did improve when you reduced oxalates, then yes, oxalates are part of your underlying causes. But if nothing changed, then they're not, and you can move on from that idea and you don't need to devote any more thinking or time to it. So the bonus strategy here is to experiment with things that you think are related to your unique underlying causes. And by slowing down and trying to answer one question at a time, you start to build an arsenal of answers. And though it may seem a little strange, these answers are what build your long-term management plan for your gut health. So again, make sure you approach any new experiment that you're trying with a question in mind that you're trying to answer. The fourth key strategy that you'll want to be using on your IBS and SIBO healing journey is to keep good track of your experiments. I don't know about you, but I have tried hundreds of experiments with my body over the 10 years that I had IBS. So we're talking diets, singles food changes, supplements, supplement protocols, medications, behavior changes, all kinds of things. This recommendation is born out of my own experience because I don't really remember what the outcome was of my experiment with antimicrobial herbs in the summer of 2016 was. So I can't go back and look and say, oh yeah, no, I reacted really badly to berberine or whatever. So in my program, I teach my clients to use a custom spreadsheet that I designed for them that just lays out all of the important information about these experiments so they can keep track of them over time. It includes space to keep track of the question that you're trying to ask, what specifically you're using, what the outcome of that was, and what your suspected next steps are, and what your next questions are that come out of that experiment. And over time, your notes on this sheet literally become your personal Calm Digestion plan because it's a record of the things that worked and the things that didn't work. And this just gives you the clarity to know that, okay, I need to do more of this, I need to do less of that. And that's really all it is. So again, just make sure that you're keeping track of your experiments on some kind of log or record so that you can remember later on what helped and what didn't. So I hope this list of strategies helps you think about your situation in a more empowered way and gives you more of the tools that you need to really make effective progress with your IBS or SIBO symptoms. And if you've been feeling lost about how to choose or use the various IBS options out there, from supplements to diets to anything else in between, I want to encourage you to download my free guide called The Roadmap to Gut Recovery. Inside that guide, I share the exact strategy tools that I teach my clients inside my Calm Digestion Method program to help them find their personalized plan for calm digestion. So you can get support with this too just by grabbing your free copy. You can get that by going to confluencenutrition.com/roadmap. And I will leave a link for that below in the description box, and it's also here on the screen for you right now. All right, let me know if this video was helpful by clicking like or leaving me a comment, and be sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss any future videos. And then next, you might want to check out this video where I talk about one of my early IBS fails and what I learned from that. So see you next time.